Hey, good morning YouTube. This is Adventure Vin, where I'm bringing you information and interest on dual sport adventure motorcycle riding, and including my KLR Gen 1, my KLR 650 Gen 1. Also the modifications I made to the motorcycle. I will be going on some trips I'll be taking you guys along with. My next planned long trip is on Route 66 in August. I'll also be going over to the camping equipment I'll be bringing. For those of you who saw last night's video on helmets, we had a little fun with some movie satires. Surprisingly how hard it is to get the right lighting and the volume and everything, so I'm learning a lot about doing videos at the same time. But today, this morning, what I'm going to bring to you is the starter books that I recommend. One of my first videos I did all my books, I had a quick overview, but some of the books I'm going to mention today, which all can be found on Amazon, is this first one, which is pretty popular, Easy Guide Route 66. Kind of that would accompany it is a dining and lodging guide, also found on Amazon. This book here, there's quite a few kind of along these lines. I do like this one. We'll get into that in just a moment. And two of these plastic, like all-weather maps. Now, the first thing I'll say is most of these things you can buy brand new or used on Amazon. Ironically, this one's only sold as used on Amazon. I think the lowest price I saw was $92. I ended up getting my copy at the Victorville Route 66 museum here in Southern California for like $19.95. So as I speak about this, if this is something that you are interested in, there's a lot of Route 66 museums and gift shops out there. Look for it there first. Let's start with this one. Okay, so dining and lodging guide is just exactly what it says. So on the inside, it'll show you, and most of these books I go over, or that you will find, will go in chronological order pretty much from Chicago to LA. Historically and culturally, that is the direction and path of travel, east to west. So as you would start this book or many others, it's going to start like as if you're leaving Chicago. And what it does, it shows you a picture, gives you some really good information on some of the things that are out there for lodging and eating. And this is a good point to make. I did find some information on lodging here because I do default to go to hotels.com a lot, and not all your mom and pops are going to be in hotels.com. You can also find a lot of information here on YouTube of different nostalgic historic hotels along the route. So I would say for $19.95, I've already gotten my money worth out of this one. But you can start with hotels.com. But one thing I would recommend, if you're going to take the time to do the Route 66 trip, part of the experience is going to the nostalgic places to eat, the nostalgic places to stay. One of the elements, especially in some of these historical hotels, is that at night, the people traveling Route 66 will gather around like fire pits, tell stories, get to meet each other. And that is part of the experience, I believe, that you'll be enjoying. Maybe not looking for, but will greatly enhance that overall experience of Route 66. To stay at a major chain hotel, we all do. We all have opportunities to do that. And there are plenty of them actually on Route 66. But ironically, these mom and pop ones that are more nostalgic, more unique, are actually more affordable. You'd be really surprised. So don't think that you're going to be investing more, spending more by staying at some of these other unique hotels or motels. Auto courts, many different names that they have for these establishments. But I flipped through this and I probably got, 3 or 4 tidbits of information. So you will see this one mentioned quite a few times. I'm going to go to this one. I think I've heard it referred to as the Bible. Now the unique thing about this one is that it's a guidebook for direction. What this author does in a really good way is that he does the historical on top, the historical westbound, as if you're going from Chicago to Los Angeles, but underneath he does an eastbound. So if you're leaving from Santa Monica, I say Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Los Angeles, if you're leaving and going eastbound, he also has that for you here. Where it becomes really a good tool for me is that I will be going eastbound, and on a return trip I'll be coming westbound. I have done portions of Route 66 already, so I'm familiar with it, and I'm really good with maps. But this is kind of cool. This is kind of a good one as if you're reading directions like assembling something. If you're going to assemble a piece of furniture or assemble a kitchen appliance, you kind of want to read through all of those instructions before you get, not point to point, but before you get there, you kind of want to read through all the instructions. I feel like this is how this works out. read through it, understand about 2 or 3 stops ahead, and things will start making more sense to you. So, and he adds a lot of some historical value and points of interest along with these smaller maps of the down areas, but then he has these big overview maps also. So you got these big overview maps to show you the bigger locations you'll be traveling through, and then you'll put some of the smaller ones in there. This one, I believe I got for like 10 or 12 bucks on Amazon as a used version. I think it retails originally for like 32. So you'll find it anywhere between $12 to $32 on Amazon. Going to this one, like I said before, most of these books are going to read from east to west. So this one is just a travel guide. This is doesn't have any maps in it actually. Most of the books will, but this starts at Lou Mitchell's. If you read about Lou Mitchell's, it's a historical place to eat in Chicago when you're starting out on your route, Route 66. But this reads more like a book, and I think this is what you would want to start piquing your interest, starting to extract things that you find interesting that you want to experience, and then you read all the way through it. And of course, you're going to go through the different states, and you're going to end up through Santa Monica, on Santa Monica Pier. Most guidebooks are going to bring you to the pier. In a later video, we're going to talk about the actual logistical beginning and ends of Route 66 and the differences between that and what has become the cultural, touristy terminations of these routes. It really applies more to Southern California than it does to Chicago. Moving on to maps. These 2 maps here are also found on Amazon. I believe this one here I saw for like $6, and this one here is like for $9. I like them both. I'll start with this one. Let me open it up real quick. Folds out, and this is almost, I would say, more on the souvenir level, novelty level. As you see, the maps are not as detailed, but it has a lot of cool information in here, a lot of historical cool information. Wigwam Hotel, there's one in Holbrook, Arizona, and there's a second set in San Bernardino, Rancho Cucamonga vicinity in Southern California. They're not tied together, they're not associated, they're just the same architecture at one time, but both independently owned. But a lot of good information here. I want you to take a look at the maps. The maps are not as detailed as this next one is, but this is kind of one that will pique your interest, but I wouldn't say it's applicable to actually planning, a hard logistical route through Route 66, but a fun map to have. This one here, if you're going to get one map, I would say go with this one. What this one does differently is that if you look at it, it kind of looks like the map that you would get in a kind of AAA or any other state map or atlas, and all these are 2-sided because there's so much information on them. And this one also has some of the blown up areas. So what I like about this one is that you actually see the state routes, you see it in scale and the associated cities that are around it, and you also get a lot of the points of interest on it. Once again, I believe this is the Holbrook Wigwam. You got the Blue Swallow Motel in Tucumcari, New Mexico. I'm sorry, yeah, Tucumcari, New Mexico. I almost said Arizona. And so if I was going to make like a starter pack, and you wanted to get some interest, I would say these 3. I showed you 5 items. This one here is the dining guidebook. Save it for later. I won't spend $92 on it. This one's cool, maybe for a souvenir to look over your trip, but these 3 are going to get you started. This is a really good map, and what I like about it, there's maps in here also, but what I like about this one is that it's an at a glance. You can see from your point A, you can see a couple of states at a time and the surrounding areas to scale. And you can accompany this with your city maps or your AAA maps that you can get at a AAA store. And then there was this one that you read for historical significance and piquing interest. And then of course the easy guide. So I got more books I'll be going over on the route. You can follow along with me. Some of them are going to be more logistical and map oriented. Other ones will be more historical and informative to that degree. Thanks again for tuning in. Like, subscribe, most importantly, get out there and ride. And if you have any questions or you want me to expound on anything that you might have seen in this video or prior ones, let me know. And I hope to get technically better in how I produce these videos as far as embedding links so you guys can just click on something and go directly to a product or an information item that I might have mentioned. Have a great day, and I hope to see you all soon.